Good morning, traders. Today is the 13th of August, and this is a quick little update. We've had a very big gap in the SPY today. Let's spread this out. You guys can take a look. Very big upward gap. We opened up here 536. The NASDAQ is actually doing better. Take a look at the NASDAQ here. Fairly clean chart. I haven't been drawing too much on this, but a couple of lines. And look at this nice move here. Big solid rally in the NASDAQ. Looks like we are trying to break away from this channeling. You can see as I draw this channeling across these levels, looks like we've got a good solid breakaway taking place here. And I'm going to continue to urge you guys to be cautious because until we get above these levels, let me take a look at these levels here. So this is off the high. We'll move this down here. We'll move this down to this low. 382-50618. Okay, guys, we are really just starting to break away from the consolidation range. I mean, we would typically, let me show you this, we would typically reverse this down to this area and up to this area. This would be our immediate support and resistance area, which would be in this area. You can see that we're beyond that now. Okay, so now we have a deeper level, which would start from here down to here. And our deeper support and resistance level would be right in this area. This would be what would be considered the ultimate high and low, given our most recent rotation here. So we have this level still to clear before we move back into solid upward trending. But we are very solidly moving higher. Now, as we take a look at gold, the pause that I mentioned earlier looks like it's taking place, setting up a bit of a sideways rotation here. We'll see how it plays out. Day's not done yet. Gold's up $8, almost $9 right now. Bitcoin is up 121, rolling back into that flagging formation potentially. We'll see how it plays out. Let's check out IWM. Stalling out a little bit. Really, as I drew this thing earlier this morning, I don't want to overly confuse you with lines and data and what have you. But we are needing to see this support channel really play out. So if we've got this rejection, and if this rejects, then we're going to be looking at potentially setting up some sort of a flag formation like this off of some lows, maybe like this, probably closer to that, and maybe coming across this gap down to here. So if this is correct, we're fairly close to an apex here. So A, B, C, D, E, yeah, close to a pretty big breakout. IWM may make a very big move over the next 4, 5, 6 days up into this area, 215, closing the gap, 216 maybe. Looks very positive. Let's take a look at the Japanese yen or the Nikkei index holding up. Really got to check this level here again. Remember, I like to go through the rejection points here. So I'm really looking at these rejection points. I mean, yeah, I could probably move it a little higher, but this seems like a pretty solid level right now. And we're just now coming up to this area, which means we could get some pullback in this area, some pause before we roll a little higher. And again, I think the markets are going to roll higher. I don't see any massive disruption yet. Even the war in the Middle East, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, this war in the Middle East has really been, 20, 30, 40 plus years, almost in the making. They don't seem to be able to settle. So, let them have a little skirmish, in my opinion. I think Israel's doing the right thing. I think they have to defend themselves against the attacks. I mean, it's coming from 4 or 5 different nations now. And I think what they have to do is kind of settle, realize that they have to learn to live together, not try to battle one another constantly every other week. So if this is what it takes, this is what it takes. Um, and uh, and I think it's going to play out quickly, and I think it's not really going to disrupt the markets too much. So we'll see how it plays out from there. Now, if other nations get involved, China, Russia, what have you, yeah, it could carry on for a little bit longer, and that's the last thing we want to see. But a disruption like that in the Middle East, if it does not disrupt the U.S. economy much, would also propel my Vortex rally quite a bit higher. So there is some positive there in the sense that if the U.S. stays somewhat immune from the conflict, and it does not really affect our economy and our output and our consumer capabilities, then there's a very good chance we're going to see this rally. So I'm going to go back to the SPY, and we are going to basically watch this. And I wanted to highlight with you guys the new work that I've been doing on these. I call them the gunslinger system. So right now I'm just highlighting the Bollinger Band pressure system on a 2-minute ES chart. You can see we've been long pretty much all morning long. This is 2-minute. You can see here, this is a 5-minute. We've rolled down a little bit. Pay attention to these coloring, this green coloring here, indicating long opportunity and indicating over here, rolling a bit sideways. And back here, indicating long opportunity, rolling up, and now we're rolling back down. If this continues to pull back, we may get a little sideways trade. But same thing here on the 2-minute, rolling into a long opportunity, and then over here, this is exhaustion. So this is basically looking to tell you, hey, if you want to or can, pull profits. We get this little red bar right here indicating, okay, pressure has diminished. We're now getting a little dip. Then we go immediately back into long right here, run all the way up through this, end up getting a little red bar right here, right on this early pullback. Then we come back and look at this big red bar or big green bar rolling up, goes to red right here. Really no opportunity there on the open. We come back down, we go into green here. That's telling us long opportunity. We come up into exhaustion right over here before we go red right there. Then we end up deep green right here. That's this deep lower green. Good solid entry, run all the way up through here, and then finally we get red right here. This is regular market session. So this is a good solid, if you take a look at this green bar here, we'll go to the end of the bar, up to this bar here, the end of this bar. It's 8.5 points. Let me do this again. So from this area here, pre-market, go to here, up to where we go red, right over here, 6.5 points. And again, green here. So we'll go to the end of the green bar here, up to where we go red, right here, almost 7 points. And lastly, this one, like I said, didn't work out so well because it was already kind of an exhaustion move. Down to this point, lost 4 points, 4.5 points. And then lastly, I think this is the last one. Green right here, get in roughly here, roll over to this point, lost 3 points. So again, these are two losers on moderate rotation. But again, we're getting, very solid trending. You can see how it plays out here as well. Green bar here, from here all the way up to the pullback right here, 13 points, almost 14 points. Green bar here, rolling over to the red bar here, lost 2 points. And then we have a green bar here, which will be here, rolling all the way up. And we've got 4.5 points here already, 5 points. Let's see how it plays out. Could be more, could be less. The idea here is that the consolidated trending using a 5-minute and a 2-minute, or using a 2-minute and a 10-minute, will give you very consolidated trending. And if we come in here and we go to the pressure wave count, which is right here, and do the same thing here. So the pressure wave count allows us to see the actual trending. This is a Fibonacci based pressure wave count. As it continues to build higher highs and break previous peaks in the downtrend back over here, these wave counts continue to increase as it's blowing through downward pressure levels. So what we're seeing here is building strength, building momentum to the uptrend. And again, we're not getting any real signs of a downward trend yet. So this would indicate a pullback. We don't have any exhaustion over here. We have exhaustion over here. This would indicate a pullback. Now we're rallying back up over here. You can see this move back up here to the upside. We'll see if this plays out. But if it does, we're going to see a nice little move. And again, the S&P right now is at 536. So we'll come back over here, almost 537. We've got a pretty solid little move right here. Come back over here to 10 minutes. There's our gap. And now you can see we're pulling back. Big solid gap, pulling back. We will like to see what happens here. This is a breakaway bar. So in reality, ladies and gentlemen, today should be a breakaway. And in my opinion, as long as we stay above this 534, I'll shrink this down and give you an example. As long as we stay above this 534, 535 level, I'll draw it way back here and drag it. So when I come back to it, it'll be ready for me. But as long as we stay above this level, 534 and a half, 535, I think we're going to continue to attempt to rally upward. So a pause, pullback after this big gap would be great. Holding support above the 536, 536 and a half level would be great. Holding support above 534 and a half is almost critical at this point. Otherwise, we will likely move downward. Okay, so at this point, folks, let's see how it plays out. Very good basing, bottoming, setting up for my Vortex Rally. Looks really promising. Okay, guys, go get some. Talk to you later.